Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Papa, for his own reasons, is causing some disturbance in the internet. Probably to make us more and more concentrated and intense in our approach to it. Today, before we take up the usual text of Swami Rama's, one article of Papa, how he tried to define the Lord, and how it is futile on our part to give a definition, to bring it under the category of knowables. Then only we can define, So it is impossible, simply impossible. So he says in one of these ecstatic moods, this must have been composed. What are you, my Lord? Mysticism is a poor word to express the beauty of my relationship with you. My dearest Lord. Bhakti only denotes my separateness from you. Bhakta and Bhagavan, you know. Jnana only my oneness with you. Yoga, union with you is not yet a correct word. I am baffled. Whatever it be, I am yours. You are mine. You are myself. That is all I can say about yourself and myself. As child is to the mother, as fruit is to the tree, as light is to the sun, as is fragrance to the flower, as blueness is to the sky, so am I to you. Do these similes well explain? No. As a child is to the mother, as a fruit is to the tree, as light is to the sun, as is fragrance to the flower, as blueness is to the sky, so am I to you, my Supreme Lord. Do these similes well explain? No. Are you love? Are you joy? Are you wisdom? Are you power? Are you all these at once and still beyond all? I know not. You may know yourself what you are, or you may not. O mystery, all hail. You are worshipped as images. Your names are sung with devotion. You are meditated upon as the all-pervading truth. You are gazed at as an all-enveloping light. Oh, in how many ways you are adored and loved. For me, you are the unutterable, invisible presence, the manifested countless worlds, all-encompassing spirit and truth, all-inclusive, all-transcendent, cosmic, infinite reality. For me, you are the unutterable, invisible presence, the manifested countless worlds, all-encompassing spirit and truth, the all-inclusive, all-transcendent, cosmic, infinite reality. Poets in exalted moods compose inspiring verses on you. Painters paint in bewitching colors your gracious face and figures. Musicians attune their voice in charming melody, singing your glory that thrills the ear and the heart. Devotees dance in ecstasy to the rhythm of your nectarian name. Oh, how great, splendorous and magnificent you are. My thought flow into space and finding you everywhere, return to its source and dissolved into it. My eyes searched for you and seeing you everywhere, returned to its source into which it melted away. My mind meditated on you and knowing you as God, Supreme Source, merged in you, realized that it is yourself. If you ask me who I am, I answer, I am you. I am all. All bodies are mine. I am the indwelling spirit of all beings. I am the power that activates our beings. I pervade the manifestation. I am the manifestation. I see myself as all existent, apparent, non-apparent objects. I am inside and outside of all forms. Still, I am above them all. Can you fully know who I am? Who you are? I cannot. You cannot. That is why in Quest of God, and before he starts, he used to explain about Ram. No? So there is a mysterious power. So while he was chanting, he was very clear about whose name he was chanting. We will again read. Mysticism is a poor word to express the beauty of my relationship with you, my dearest Lord. This is a dialogue between him and the Lord, the sense of individuality and the Lord. Sense of individuality, not the sense of individuality we have. It is a purified sense of individuality. It is not from the individual level. From the refined individual level. Bhakti only denotes my separateness from you. Jnana only my oneness with you. Yoga is not at a correct word, union with God. No. I am baffled. Whatever it be, I am yours. You are mine. You are myself. That is what I can say about yourself and myself. As child is to the mother, as fruit is to the tree, as light is to the sun, as is fragrance to the flower, as blueness is to the sky, so am I to you. Without the mother, the child cannot come. Without the tree, the fruit cannot come. Without sun, the light cannot come. Without flower, the fragrance cannot come. Without the sky, blueness cannot be seen. So am I to you, my Supreme Beloved. Do this is well explained? No. Are you love? Capital L. Are you joy? Capital J. Are you wisdom? Capital W. Are you power? Capital P. Are you all these at once and still beyond all? I know not. You may know yourself what you are, or you may not. O mystery, all hail. You are worshipped as images. Your names are sung with devotion. You are meditated upon as the all-pervading truth. You are gazed at as all-enveloping light. Oh, in how many ways you are adored and loved. For me, you are the unutterable, invisible presence, the manifested countless worlds, all-encompassing spirit and truth, the all-inclusive and the all-transcendent cosmic, infinite reality. Poets in exalted moods compose inspiring verses on you. Painters paint in bewitching colors your gracious face and figure. Musicians attune their voice in charming melody, singing your glory that thrills the ear and the heart. Devotees dance in ecstasy to the rhythm of your nectarian name. Oh, how great, splendorous, magnificent you are. My thought flew into space and finding you everywhere, returned to its source. Thoughts goes back to its source and dissolved into it. My eyes searched for you and seeing you everywhere, returned to its source, into which it melted away. My mind meditated on you and knowing you as God, Supreme Source, merged in you, realized that it is yourself. If you ask me who I am, I answer, I am you. I am all. bodies are mine. I am the indwelling spirit of beings. I am the power that activates all things. I pervade the manifestation. I am the manifestation. I see myself as all existent, apparent, non-apparent objects. I am inside and outside of all form, still I am above your power. Can you fully know who I am? Who you are? I cannot, you cannot. When we read articles like this, the palpable, tangible gain is our mind, which is a gift of Him, tries to understand Him through so many other knowables. All these things are knowables, And then we, at the same time, we feel it is not complete. So it is beyond expression, beyond the thought. Thought itself exists in him. So I means is the thought, I owe everything to him, the base, the substratum, the power. This will all help us when we chant the name. All these things are contributory factors in getting more and more clarity on the indwelling reality. It can't be put in words. So, Shastras and Mahatmas, they tried their level best to bring it through words, communication. Ayamatma Brahma, Pratnanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. Through these four Mahavakyas. It is only a word. But it will help us to dwell on the indwelling reality. Indwelling and all-pervading reality. And Papa was at that time, even from 1920 to 22 period when he was chanting the name, he was very clear about this background. And in order to, just like when we learn the cycling, in order that the balance gets stabilized in us, we keep on riding the cycle. We may fail, we may forget, we may fall, but still, the perseverance on our part to master the cycling enables us to go forward. We had a glimpse initially, that balance is there initially and the balance is to be stabilized. Similarly here, in his case, according to what we read from Chandrasekhar Rao's book, Passage to Divinity, he was attending the bhajans when he was passing through the terrible, stressful moments. At that time, he was only concentrating on the form, and he was reading various books, tough books like Yoga Vasishtha. Yoga Vasishtha is very difficult for all of us to understand, very difficult. The initial part itself is interesting, When Rama started explaining about the transitoriness of this world to the huge group of scholars, elders, So the transitoriness is first established, then the reality is shown. We get stuck with the transitory object. So we feel that Yoga Vasishtha enables us to have this proper foundation. Because normally we get attached to what is before us. Right from our young age, we have been taught to identify everything, through our five sense organs. That which pleases. Never there was a mention about the indwelling reality. So as we grow, we have been absolutely 100% extrovert. Never the mind has been trained to go inward. So we got stuck with this transitory world. We know that every person who is born, he dies. Every plant, every tree, every fruit, everything, it keeps on. Exiting from the scene. Still we don't understand that. We don't understand. That is why we get attached. We have never understood that it is transitory. Even when I score 90 plus, if somebody pats on my back and gives me a regard, I am happy, I have never been told that this is only an external. What you have mastered is the knowledge about something other than you. Likewise, you have to turn inward, nobody told us. So we have been totally extrovert. We did not give any, we have not heard, we have not applied our mind on the transitoriness. That is why our mind is still not able to go inward, in spite of hearing this. So in Papa's day, we all feel, this has not been explained by him, but we surmise from what we have read, that when he was going through Yoga Vasishtha, in the first portion of the Yoga Vasishtha itself, Lord Rama enumerates about the transitory nature of the world. And he couldn't get an answer and he said, what is that? So I have lost all my interest. He withdrew to himself and that is how he withdrew to himself. And the dialogue starts. And then Vishwamitra asks the Vasishtha to explain. And through so many anecdotes, so many anecdotes, the sublime principle is being highlighted. The biggest text. But the first portion itself, we were charmed because that is what is needed now for us. If we have to pursue towards the eternal, we must know about the ephemeral, then only the mind will get attached to the eternal at the buddhi level, at the intellectual level first at least. Because the craving is still there. The desire is still there for the objects, transitory. So the transitoriness should get well established. And Yoga Vasishtha brings it out. Papa was passing through such a similar instance, similar time. So when this, we feel, when he went through the Yoga Vasishtha, that made him deeply rooted in this. Rooted in what? The transitoriness of the outer world. Not the outer world is bad. We should know the reality that it is transitory, that's all. That is also God's making. We grow vegetables, we sow the seed, we loosen the soil, we apply for manure, we water it, we sow the seed, mulch it, fence it, water it regularly. The seed breaks, seedling comes. Again we keep on nurturing, it becomes a plant. Again we keep on taking care, it becomes the flowering starts, fruition starts, and we pluck from the field and come here and cut it and cook it and eat it. Again that creativity goes inside, the creative power. The power is not gone, but the transitory nature of that particular vegetable. Even if I don't pluck, it gets, matured, then afterwards it gets dropped to the earth. It doesn't stay forever. After the flowering, after the fruition, after the maturing, if we don't pluck it, it drops to the Mother Earth. Think. But the power behind it, no, it is never done. So this transitoriness of the outer world is probably got well established after reading the. That is why he started probing deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And in order to keep up the thought, he was relying on Ramana. So no other thought was disturbing him. So the first step was the transitoriness, knowledge of the transitoriness of the or ephemerality of the outer world, and then turning it towards. And in order to turn it, we have to put a fence and run. Then the mind was driven inside, started plumbing. That is why all these, how can it come? There are many such articles by Papa. You can't say articles, musings. Small, ecstatic. Anyway, we will go back to a few words of Swami Rama again. So mantra should become our. We should recognize that mantra is our closest, dearest friend. Dearest and nearest friend. A time comes when mantra is remembered, but very subtly. Of course, that remembrance is so subtle, subtler than the breath. Now, when you are remembering subtly that mantra, a time comes when mantra becomes the leader. If your mind is the leader, then it will throw the mantra aside and give you a different direction. Mantra becomes the leader. Accept your mantra as a leader during that time. Let the mind follow the mantra. A state comes when mantra leads you to perfect silence. And the mind has to follow it there. When the mind is in perfect silence, there comes calmness, joy, happiness. And if you persist, there is no word there, there is no sound there, you attain a state which is called soundless sound, that is part of Turiya, that is beginning of Turiya, that can lead you to Samadhi. This is one of the easiest ways. So Nama to be there in the subtle form, by habituating, to chant. Because during the other time, we should know this is a practical course. During the entire waking time, we are unable to hold on to the chanting. So here he suggests that the chanting should enable us to have it in a subtler form in our mind, not at the grosser form. Gross form it is there. But that is not possible. So in the subtler form we try to keep. This also we have to ponder deeply how it can be done. This cannot be done theoretically, only by practice. The know-how of my cycling I cannot explain, no? It has come out of a practice and it has become a reality and stored. Whenever it is needed, it comes by itself, and when I see a cycle, when I feel like riding, immediately it comes back to me and helps me. Otherwise it may not. We are trying to understand what is subtle awareness. Anything that we apply our mind deeply in a concentrated form, concentration, contemplation, meditation. No? So when we do that, the subtle factor of that, it is stored in our mind. That is how right from young age, we have reached this age, we have been able to do so many things because of this faculty God has given to us. It is not that when I go from the school, everything gets lost. When I move from a particular job, everything is lost. No. When we join the professional career, on the second day or the third day, the section head called us and told us three things. We can never forget in our life. That was in 61, but so clear. He called and said, these three things. When you try to learn so many words, you are fresh now. You will be able to pick up. And even if you leave the company, what you have picked up will come with you. So you should know the company provided a field for you to master it. Because whatever knowledge, whatever know-how, whatever expertise you gain, it stays with you. It will not go away if you leave the company. It becomes a part of you. So you should be grateful to the company for having you. The second thing was, company may get so many people. You may not get a company like this. Your hidden talents were exposed only because the company provided you a field. Company could have chosen somebody else, but it chose you now. So be grateful to the company. So why we remember, the expertise, yes. Everything we learned, when we went to the school, we did not know about the tables. But later on, there was no need for a table, Even at this age, we can recollect, what has been. So that means what? God has given this wonderful faculty of storing it in a subtle form, and whenever it is needed, it doesn't confuse us. It only comes out whenever there is a need for it. When I have to do some calculation, only at that time this one comes and helps us. Otherwise it will not. See the wonderful way in which it's helping me. So the faculty has been given to me and stays in a subtle form, not in a gross form anywhere. So similarly, whatever we have done at the time of learning, at the time acquiring the so-called expertise or know-how, or skill, if the same attitude is applied while chanting the name, it will also remain as a subtle form. That is what now Swami Rama says. So that means while chanting, the knowingly chanting, consciously chanting, chanting with the right attitude, chanting with the right concept of God, these are all some of the factors that help us to form, to have the name in a subtle level in our mind. And then he says when it is there, it becomes the leader. Just like the expertise or skill which we have learned and was kept in the subtle form, whenever there is a need for it, it comes out and then it takes the lead, All else does not matter then. Suppose we are to sit before the computer for drafting out a letter or an article or a project. How does the language help us? The expertise or the skill we have learned in the grammar, the presentation, the prefix, the suffix, the preposition, the punctual, the diction, the thrust. So many factors, idioms, phrases, all have been capsuled in some form and kept in our mind in a subtle way, and it occupies at the time of drafting. And there, that is the one which leads me. Not that I am leading it. And when it comes out, when you read it, So the me and mine that thought was not there. That's why he says the mind is not there. It becomes, the subtle factor becomes the leader. Beautiful. If your mind is the leader, so he says, a time comes when mantra is remembered, but very subtly. Of course, that remembrance is so subtle, subtler than the breath. Now, when you are remembering subtly that mantra, a time comes when mantra becomes the leader. If your mind is the leader, then it will throw the mantra out and give you a different direction. This has to be pondered over, because while chanting the Ram Nam, is the mind going along with it? Mantra becomes leader. Accept your mantra as a leader during the time. Let the mind follow the mantra. A state comes when mantra leads you to perfect silence, and mind has to follow it there. When mind is in perfect silence, there comes calmness, joy, happiness. And if you persist, there is no word there. There is no sound there. You attain a state which is called soundless sound. And that is a part of Turiya. That is beginning of Turiya that can lead you to the Samadhi. This is one of the easiest ways. That itself is food for thought.
From created void to uncreated void.
From created world to the uncreated. Correct. From the manifest to the unmanifest. Absolutely right. It is purely an inward journey. So we pray to him now. You are providing us with clarity on how to chant, how to have the frame of mind while chanting, to eke out the maximum benefit from it. So words are painted now. a picture of what it will lead to, like silence, calmness, joy, happiness. A pleasant feeling which is conveyed to us in so many words. That is not complete, but so many words. That is the only way through which it can be conveyed. So we are praying to Him, you are trying to make it clearer and clearer for us. But for all that we now understand, the mind should develop to go inward, 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 rather than its usual method of going outward. So with the help of Nama, kindly enable us to go inward, even while chanting, even while not chanting. Any effort on this direction to go inward, pondering deeply over these, will definitely help us in forming or in converting it into a subtle form in the corner of our mind. While all other activities are going on, this corner will also be there. To enable us, bless us. Papa used to say the word sentinel, the watchman. Watchtower, somebody will be watching, from a raised platform. When there is a barbed wire fence, these security areas, defense areas. So the sentinel will be watching whether nobody is intruding. Similarly, the Nama becomes a sentinel, and it doesn't allow any other thought to step in, thus enabling us to move inward fast. So kindly enable us, please. Now what happens is, go with all in bhakti, with all concentration we start. A time comes when the mind somehow sneaks out. Somebody comes, somebody talks, somebody moves, somebody touches, immediately the inward tendency is broken and the outward tendency is unknowingly becomes the reality. So kindly enable me to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and enable me to have the subtle form of Nama always in my heart, which only by your grace it can be done. So I've been trying, I wanted it, I have not been able to. That means some other factor, unknown factor is also necessary, and that unknown factor is you. So kindly help me please. That is why Papa used to say prayer and Rama. Prayer should go. These are the only two things that are needed for a sadhana. Prayer and Rama. The right attitude, and in order that we get more and more clarity on the Nama sadhana, he is providing us with all these thoughts, expressed through saints who have scaled the heights. Let us all try to assimilate, absorb, retain as much as possible. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om.